What is up everybody, my name is BobaTalks and today's video is going to be a video about The Flash Season 3, and it's a video that I've been holding off on making for quite some time because all this time I've been sort of collecting my thoughts together, and as you've guessed from the title, it is about who is Savitar on The Flash, and I personally think that in the end of my conclusion that is Barry Allen. Now I'm sure by now you've seen 1,000 of these videos, but I want to sort of talk about all the other theories as well, but also just say as to why I think that it is Barry, who is the most likely person to be Savitar, most in particular the future Flash version of Barry, rather than this current timeline version of Barry. So yeah, I've actually wanted to make this video for the longest time, just mainly because, you know, everybody who I know on YouTube or watch on YouTube has been making Who is Savitar videos, and I've just, you know, sort of held off it because I'm just like, well, I don't really want to say something and then sort of change my opinion. But now, honestly, because we're nearing the end of the season, I feel like I've formulated my opinion, and for all we know, Savitar's identity could be revealed in the next episode, or at least the next 2 or 3. So let's begin with all these other theories that I think are pretty cool, but not necessarily the right ones, before I talk about why Barry Allen or the future Flash could be Savitar. So let's go through some characters. I mean, you've got Joe West. Obviously, he's not going to be Savitar. There are these characters that I will eliminate right off the bat. Iris is obviously not going to be Savitar. I remember some people saying that it could be Julian, and how, like, even though he was alchemy, he could still end up being Savitar because of the link or whatever, but I really just don't think that's going to happen, since Tom Felton has already been alchemy in the season, and they're just not going to go ahead and give him the Savitar reveal. I really don't think that. Now, who else have we got? This is where it starts getting warmer. A lot of people are of the mind that HR could be Savitar, and I actually really, you know, dig this theory for quite a while. I wasn't obviously 100% believing it, because these are all theories at the end of the day. Even my opinion that the future Flash could be Savitar, you know, could be completely wrong. So HR, a lot of the reasons why he could be Savitar is, you know, he calls Wally Wallace. He was quick to and eager to train Wallace, and we all know that Savitar really wanted to use Wally to get him out of the Speed Force, so that's all suspicious. I've heard other ideas that his face technology, you know, the one that he's using to make other people see him as, you know, somebody else other than Harrison Wells, his actual Harrison Wells face could actually be, you know, a technological sort of disguise for Team Flash, and he could be somebody else that they know. But overall, I honestly don't think they're going to turn Harrison Wells or Tom Cavanagh into another villain. I get how it would be cool, but I think everything they have done, you know, especially with calling all the name drops like Wallace, you know, and how Savitar calls Wally Wallace, and all the other elements, is truly just to throw the fan base off, because I honestly don't think HR is going to be Savitar. Now, as for Wally West, I definitely get when that was a thing, you know, people saw him going into Speed Force, so people were theorizing that it could be him actually going into Speed Force, and also how Savitar says he created himself, and how Wally sort of touched the Philosopher's Stone, thus becoming a speedster. This is all plausible. I mean, they all do these things deliberately, so you can think that these characters are Savitar, but honestly, now that Wally West is out of the Speed Force, bloody blah blah blah, I really don't think he is going to be Savitar either. Now, another interesting one, I keep seeing comments on my channel, is that Jay Garrick is going to be Savitar, and I honestly don't think that's the case. Now, what a lot of people need to remember is that even though Jay Garrick is in the Speed Force, granted, the whole thing is that Savitar was put in the Speed Force by the future Flash, who created the Speed Force prison, and, you know, was in there for a long ass time. And this, you know, Speed Force prison was already existing when Jay swapped places with Wally, you know, even though Barry wanted to swap places. So honestly, this isn't one of those things where Jay goes in there and, you know, through him taking his place, he's going to be ending up going crazy and he's going to end up being Savitar. Honestly, I don't think that is the thing. Yet again, this is another thing to get people thinking. But honestly, the Speed Force prison was already created by the future Flash. Savitar had already been in there by the time Jay got in there. So this isn't a case, you know, where Jay is going to turn out to be Savitar. I'm really confident that he isn't going to be Savitar. Now, who is left? There is, you know, a couple of people left. You know, I can't forget about, you know, Cisco and the whole Dante thing. I get how people think it could be Dante, but to be honest, even though there's motive there, I think that would be quite a disappointing villain reveal if it was Dante. Even though I get the whole Flashpoint thing and everything like that, I really don't think that's going to be the case. It just would be quite, you know, disappointing. To me, it really would. Now, as for this Dallas thing, no disrespect to anyone, but no. I'm not even going to say any more than no. So, guys, who do we have left? We have Barry Allen, the Flash. And now, as for why and how he becomes Savitar, there is a whole you know, there's a million reasons what could go wrong with Barry and all the pain that he suffered and everything for him to become Savitar. Because for me, I honestly think that the future Flash, you know, so whether it be how many years in the future for Barry, he will become Savitar. And I'm really confident in that because it will be very shocking for the audience, and it will just be really interesting to see, you know, how this hero became the person who, you know, destroyed the city in the future, as Savitar claims, and is doing all of this and killing Iris. Now, I do get the cons against this. People are saying, you know, why would any version of Barry kill Iris, blah, 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 and all the other things. It's just because he's really fucked up. You know, Savitar has had so much time to reflect in the Speed Force prison, reliving his most torturous moments, whatever they may be. I believe this is enough for him to want to go back and torment this version of Barry Allen. But as I keep saying, there's so many reasons why I can't really possibly name all of them as to how Barry Allen or the future Flash turns into Savitar. There was one really interesting theory I read on the internet somewhere, and I will try and give credit in the description if I remember, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Somebody on YouTube theorized that at the end of season 2, when Barry created that time remnant to sacrifice himself to stop Zoom, I remember this being very interesting at the time. I thought I was actually really sad when Barry created another, you know, version of himself and told him what to do, because that was, in theory, you know, a real Barry Allen. That was a real speedster. It's like me going back in time right now, or you going back in time right now, 5 minutes before, you know, that event happened, or right now, and talking to yourself saying, look, you need to do this, you know, you need to sacrifice yourself, and you're just like, oh my god, like, at least one of us will live, but it's still not you, right? It's still, that's very, very tragic. And Barry sacrificed himself at the end of season 2, or at least one version of him did, but that person was very real. And what happened to that version of Barry is that, you know, he sort of disintegrated, very much similar to what happens when you go into the Speed Force. We saw it with Wally West in this season, we saw it with Barry actually in season 2 as well, when he tried to get his Speed Force powers back. So anyway, cutting to the chase is that this person could be Savitar because he actually went into the Speed Force after, you know, sacrificing himself for the team, and I don't know, somehow he's been viewing all Barry's actions and seeing that he's selfish and he doesn't like, you know, after he sacrificed himself, he created Flashpoint, blah, blah, blah. Basically, this person somehow becomes Savitar. And whilst I think that's a really, really cool theory that this time remnant, basically a version of the Flash, could become Savitar, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it's going to be more of a case where it's, you know, some other version of Barry, whether it be this version of Barry way into the future or something else, somehow become Savitar. I don't think it's going to be the time remnant thing, but props to the people who thought of that, because that is, you know, really, really outside the box way of thinking. And if it does turn out to be true, with, you know, all the answers filled in where the plot holes sort of happen, well, that's amazing. Now, recently, cast members of The Flash, whether it be Grant Gustin or Candace, who plays Iris West, and other people, are saying with their reveals like they did in season 1, they've been trying to live up to how the reverse Flash reveal happened, and, you know, with Savitar's reveal. And they've also mentioned new things like how season 4's villain will be completely different, but more importantly, they're saying that the Savitar reveal is going to be so shocking, and they honestly don't think any of us or anyone is going to figure it out beforehand. And that's a really, really bold statement to make. I mean, I'm pretty sure that people have figured it out, whether it be the future Flash or not. I mean, regardless, I think our minds are going to be blown either way. Whether it is Barry being the future Flash, it's going to be very shocking to see how, you know, our Barry became Savitar, you know, his own enemy, which is very interesting. But at the same time, as I keep saying, I think they're kind of overhyping it a little bit, and it's very bold statements to say, oh my god, this is, you know, got to trump everything we've ever done before. Finding out who Savitar is, I think people were a bit annoyed, again, with the whole sort of revealing the cowl thing, but they have done it in a different way this time, so it's going to be really interesting to see who Savitar is, especially if he is a version of Barry Allen. Now, one thing we have to take into account is, you know, Savitar is obviously somebody in Team Flash. I mean, he knows so much intricate detail about all of them. He's so evidently one of them. I mean, if somehow you're watching this when the reveals happened and I'm wrong, well, fair enough, but I don't see how Savitar could be saying all these things about each team member like he has in these episodes so intricately. He said he's lived these moments himself as well, so he's got to be one of them. And at the start of this video, as I discounted each person who I didn't think could be Savitar, I truly think, I'm saying this again, how I don't think they could be Savitar, and I think the only person for it, and the most interesting take, the most interesting twist the show could possibly do, in my opinion, is that Barry Allen is going to be Savitar. Now, as I've already explained as well, I don't know the way this is going to happen because there's so many different ways. I mean, what we have to bear in mind is that, you know, Savitar said the future Flash created the Speed Force prison to put Savitar in it. And I really know how they got him in it, whether they tricked him in there. But the fact is, a future Flash made the Speed Force prison, so Barry Allen created the Speed Force prison to put Savitar in there. So that's assuming there was two Barry Allens fighting each other in the future, and one of them, you know, the good Flash, Barry Allen, put the other evil Flash, Barry Allen, in the Speed Force prison. So it's going to be interesting how that even, you know, happened. Why did another Barry Allen come out of nowhere, etc., etc. So there are lots of problems with it being Barry. But there are also so many reasons why it could be Barry. I mean, he knows the team inside out. He can probably hate himself for all the things that he's done, you know, like Savitar does do. He really, really doesn't like Barry. Probably, maybe if he's from a different version or a different alternate Earth, or maybe a result of some timeline that Barry fucked up, he's just looking at Barry like, Jesus Christ, like, you know, you've screwed up way too much, man. But, you know, now going back to the other side, why would Barry be so egotistical, like, worship me, bow to me, you should bow before a god? You know, that's a bit cheesy and cringy if it does turn out to be Barry. So you know what I mean, is there's so many problems. But ultimately, my hand, you know, rests with Barry Allen, the future Flash, potentially, or another version of the Flash is going to be Savitar. I don't know, maybe his creation is somehow a result of the amount of times they've gone back to Nora Allen's you know, death scene, and, you know, different versions of the Flash. Even a future Flash has been erased from existence. So maybe, I don't know, maybe one of them somehow gets pissed off because of that. I'm not sure. This is where it gets crazy. And every time somebody seems to think of a theory, especially myself, I always find loopholes in my own theories. So I really hope this Savitar reveal is concrete. I know, obviously, with the Flash TV show, even with timey-wimey stuff, there are lots of plot holes. There really are. So with this, I'm sure there's going to be lots of things that piss fans off with the reveal, but I really hope it's going to be satisfying. But either way, guys, if I keep talking, I'm going to be rambling on forever. But I just wanted to give my piece on the whole who is Savitar theory. You know, the title of this video is most likely going to be, and, you know, all of this is off the top of my head, Barry Allen to be the future Flash or Savitar or something like that, because I am confident. Don't get me wrong, it is so 50-50 as to who it could be. I personally, I think Barry Allen, or a version of Barry Allen, is going to be Savitar. That is the best possible twist for me. As for all the other characters, it would just be sort of nonsensical. I would love for it to be Eddie, you know, after he got sucked into the singularity, you know, somehow he's been viewing all these events. But either way, this is what I mean. If I keep talking there's going to be faults with it being Eddie. No matter what I say, it seems to kind of be living up to what the stars are saying. It's very hard to figure out. So it's going to be really interesting when this reveal finally happens, who the hell Savitar is going to be and how the hell they're going to stop him. It would be pretty funny if the future Flash, you know, put one of the Flashes in a Speed Force prison because, you know, he kept fucking with the timeline so much and now he's come back all angry. I don't know. And now the theories are getting ridiculous. So let me know your theories in the comments below, guys, because I want this whole video to be one big ass discussion, theory, crafting comment section. Let me know if you agree with me why all these characters I've discussed can't be Savitar, and why I think Barry is most likely going to be the person to be Savitar, or at least a version of Barry Allen, because obviously the one we've got on the show at the minute isn't, you know, that Barry or version of Barry who's Savitar-esque like. But anyway, guys, thank you for listening to my thoughts. I know I ramble on sometimes, and I know you've probably seen, you know, who is a Savitar video so many times, so thank you for watching this video. It really means a lot to me. If you got this far in the video, I'd really appreciate it if you left a like on the videos, because it really does show your support. Don't forget that you can follow me on all social media in the links below, for example, my Twitter page, my Facebook page. But apart from that, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.